Hi, everyone. This is Vicki Bartholomew, president of eXp Realty, and this is the accompaniment to go along with our slide deck for an introduction to eXp Realty. This is not really designed as something to send to a potential agent, but rather as a guide for our eXp agents to use when they are using our slide deck and how to explain each slide. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing, it's really important that we make sure and cover all of the different aspects of our eXp value proposition. I know sometimes it's easy to focus on the things that excited us about eXp, but the reality is the agent that you're speaking with may have entirely different goals and might find a different part of the model the most attractive. So we never want to leave anything out or have any kind of unbalance in the way we do the presentation. So it's important that you cover each of the different aspects of our value proposition, the who we are, what our business model is all about, our eXp world, the solutions that we offer, and then, of course, going through the steps of how to join eXp. Probably at the core and what's most important is that an agent thinking about coming into eXp really understand who we are as a company. And the very first part to understanding that is understanding our founder, Glenn Sanford. When you read Glenn's bio here on the slide, what you're going to find is that he is exactly what you're hoping for in the founder of today's real estate company. First of all, he has a knowledge of technology that is just unmatched. He truly understands internet lead generation. In fact, he was doing it in the early 90s at the onset of the internet itself, which is pretty amazing. Second of all, you want someone who to have founded your company and be at the helm as the CEO that has run a large production team. And certainly in a very short time, he proved that once he got into the real estate industry and had huge success. And then finally, you want someone at the helm of your publicly traded real estate company that understands finance. And again, with Glenn's background, he certainly fits all those categories. So Glenn is an exceptional visionary and founder, and definitely you want to highlight his experience. Next, as you're looking at a timeline of how eXp has grown and the path that we've taken, probably the most important thing to highlight on here happened there in the end of 2013. And you'll see that's when we became a publicly traded company with the intent to be agent owned. Rather than getting to be big and then doing a large IPO, we kind of quietly became public by merging into a public shell so that our agents could be our shareholders. And that has brought us the success that you see there. Lots of accolades in the industry as well as out of the industry. Our most recent being named by Glassdoor as one of the best places to work. As you look at our explosive growth, it is really easy to see kind of the hockey stick analogy. We actually hit 1,000 agents on Leap Day of 2016. And since that time, the growth trajectory has just been explosive. Certainly no other way to put that. The other thing here that you really want to talk about when you're talking about who we are, and that I think is very important for potential agents to understand, are our core values. Because if any of these are not in alignment with the agent that's considering us, it's not in alignment with their core values, then we're probably not a match for them. Certainly integrity and service and sustainability. Collaboration is another one, though. We're really looking for open-minded people willing to jump in and collaborate and work to help make our company better as agent owners. Same thing with transparency. We want people that value transparency, that are looking to really expand that and appreciate that in a company. Innovation and being agile are another part that, if it's someone that is kind of stuck in their ways and has no interest in what's new and being part of what's new and being agile enough in their business practices to change and to accept change that is as a constant way of our industry, then they may not be the right fit. So it's really important that you go through each of these and talk a little bit about each one. Next, when you're getting into our business model, very important to make the distinction that we are one brokerage rather than a franchise system. Most of the industry is either independent small local brokers or independent small franchisees of a larger franchise system. And the fact that we are one national brokerage gives us such economies of scale that it's really important that as you're presenting our eXp model to someone, that they understand the things that make that so special and different in the industry. Eliminating the costly overhead, and the locally confined, the fact that we are able to have staff members from all over the country, really all over the world, the best people to serve our agents and really help the company grow, and that they get to collaborate with agents from all over the country, not just their local markets. Also gives us the ability to grow and scale a business so much faster. And particularly if the agent that you're speaking with has a mind to expand into other markets, it saves them from having to go find an additional broker, pay a fee to a new broker in a new market to be able to expand. If we're already there, it's very simple. They can just start doing business there. Next is our cloud campus environment. Very, very important to talk about how this allows us to have no desk fees, that we can work from anywhere. Hopefully, each and every one of you has already spent a lot of time in the cloud and familiarized yourself. And if you haven't, then that is your first step. Get into the cloud. Make sure you understand the power of having all of those resources right there at your fingertips. Allows us to have paperless transactions and no expensive leases or anything. Really means that we're able to spend that money on technology and the things that matter most to an agent, like agent support. And what's great is now you can actually get access to that support from anywhere that you have your computer, which is really exciting. Same thing with live training. Now, instead of having to go spend half your day to go take a hour class in your local office, now you can just open your computer and have access to that live training, masterminds, all kinds of great collaboration. Same thing with real-time support. Being able to have a full support team right there at your fingertips is something you'll really want to talk about. So many times in offices, there is no support. There might be one broker that's the support for the entire office, and their office manager, transaction coordinator, trainer, receptionist, all of it. And so really talking about how we have a staff today of over 200 employees of the company there to serve them at their leisure in real time, all through the cloud environment, is really important. Next is international collaboration. This is huge. Really huge, an important point to really focus on when you're speaking to agents. Most of the time as agents, we have to spend a lot of money to go to conventions just to be able to collaborate and connect with agents in other markets. We get to do that every single day through our cloud environment, which is really a special thing. Learn about what agents in other markets are doing. Learn about the other markets in case you have investors. And of course, exchange referrals. Really a great opportunity to talk about there. Powerful agent ownership. This is one that definitely important to understand. First of all, when we talk about the stock and the ways that an agent can acquire stock, it's important to understand that there's a difference between buying shares of stock and earning shares of stock. And so it's important to make that differentiation. Also important here to understand that they are not stock options, but actual shares of stock. So let's work through each of these a little bit. So first you see the equity awards, and these again are ways that they can earn shares of stock. So first of all, they're going to earn shares of stock when they do their first transaction with us. We want every single one of our agents to be agent owners as quickly as possible. And so that's why we've tied shares of stock as an award directly to that first transaction. Next, they're going to earn shares of stock when they hit their cap every year. So every year as they hit their cap, they're going to earn shares of stock as well. And then finally, they're going to earn shares of stock when they attract an agent to the company and that agent does their first transaction with us. And all of these are on a declining scale based on our agent count. So in other words, the more agents we have in the company, the fewer shares of stock are actually awarded on these. Anytime we're going to award shares of stock, there is a 3-year vesting period on that stock. And it's important to make sure everyone understands that vesting period begins when the shares are actually awarded. So, for example, an agent that comes in and pays a cap every single year, they're going to earn shares of stock every year as they hit that cap. And each time they do, it's a new 3-year vesting period for those particular shares. So important to point that out. Another way an agent can earn shares of stock is our Icon Agent Award. This one is super important to understand and make sure that it's correct when you're explaining it. So basically, the production requirements for our Icon Agent Award is, first of all, to pay a full cap to the company, a full $16,000 cap, and then pay a total of $5,000 in cap transaction fees on top of that, all in a calendar year. One of the things I hear misquoted an awful lot is that it is 20 transactions, and that's really not the case most of the time. You see, there's a cap transaction fee of $250 per transaction that applies once an agent has capped. This cap transaction fee is actually split according to the commission split that they earn. So for example, if this Icon agent has a team, which most of them do, and they have a buyer's agent on a 50-50 split with them, that individual Rainmaker Icon agent is only going to pay 50% of that $250 as a cap transaction fee because we're not going to charge it twice. So that means it would take 40 transactions at that. So never quote the number of transactions because that is not the milestone for the Icon Award. The milestone for the Icon Award is actually $5,000 in cap transaction fee on top of their full cap, all in one anniversary year. So those are the production requirements. And then there's also some cultural requirements. We do ask our Icon agents to give back. And there is a vetting committee that approves each and every icon that we have. So that's how the award is earned. And basically, the award for that is as soon as someone becomes an Icon agent with us, then they're going to earn $12,000 of their $16,000 cap back in the form of company stock with a 3-year vesting period. The additional $4,000 they're going to earn in two $2,000 awards that will be issued to them with no vesting period upon attendance of our shareholders meeting and our eXp Con each and every year. Now, every single year, a new Icon Award platform is approved by our board of directors. So this can change. It's something you definitely want to be up on. If you're talking to people about the Icon Award, you'll want to know what the new plan is for each and every year. So this plan I'm quoting you now is for our 2018 year. And that's for anniversary years that begin in 2018. So those are the ways that an agent can earn shares of stock. Now, an agent can also purchase shares of stock. We have what we call our agent equity program. And the way this works is an agent can elect to take 5% of their commission dollars back in the form of company stock rather than in cash. And if they do that, then they're purchasing that stock at a 20% discount. Now, this is totally optional. Nobody's going to call and sell them on it. They actually have to fill out a form to be able to do this. So again, it's totally optional. They don't have to, but it's a nice way to build equity in the company if it's something that they're interested in doing. Now, because they're purchasing these shares of stock directly from the company treasury, it's a little bit different. They're considered restricted shares, and there is a process to that and a holding period around that as well. So you'll want to make sure you really understand what the current rules are about that. But there is no vesting period on this. The 3-year vesting does not apply because they're not earning these shares. They're actually purchasing these shares. If you have any questions about the stock at all, by all means, let's do some more research before you start talking about it. Lots of great places to find that, including we have a stockholders, a shareholders class on eXp Expressway, which you can find at expcloud.com. So definitely a great course to look through if you have some more questions about any of that. Next is our agent advisory council. Super important to understand that our agents have a voice in our company. If you go back to our core values of collaboration, it's super important for us as a company that we hear from agents of all different production levels, all different parts of the country, really what's going on and what's important for our agents so that they can really guide the direction of the company. And as agent owners, that's even more important. Next is our revenue sharing piece. First of all is the single agent revenue share. And the way that we'll explain it this way is we'll go with the single agent revenue share and then branch into the multi-agent revenue share. So for the single agent revenue share, as soon as an agent attracts another agent to the company, they're going to earn up to 3.5% of that agent's gross commission income until they've capped. Really important to understand that this is coming out of eXp's 20%, not out of the agent's, does not affect the agent's paycheck at all. They're still going to earn their 80% until they've hit their cap. So as soon as an agent stops paying in that 20% when they've hit their $16,000 cap, then there won't be any more revenue share from that particular agent for the rest of the year. Because we can do the math at that 3.5%, we know that any agent you personally attract to the company that pays a full cap, a full $16,000 cap to the company is going to be worth $2,800 a year to the agent who sponsored them. Next is multi-agent revenue share. This really gives the opportunity to have the same financial advantage as you would if you went out and opened your own brokerage and had a lot of agents out there selling real estate and paying you a percentage. We've eliminated the need to do that by paying you a percentage of the income that's coming in directly to eXp. So in order to unlock multi-agent revenue share, you will need to attract personally more agents to the company. So as you attract agents to the company and then they attract agents to the company, then you actually are able to earn a percentage of their gross commission. Again, part of that 20% they're paying into eXp as well. So the next chart here shows how exactly you're going to unlock that multi-agent revenue share. The multi-agent revenue share is actually paid in 7 tiers, and each tier has a different number of agents that you need to personally attract to the company in order to unlock. So for example, if you sponsor one agent to the company, you are going to earn that 3.5% revenue share from that agent. As soon as you have attracted 5 agents to the company, at that point in time, then you're actually going to unlock that second tier of revenue share, that multi-agent revenue share at that point, and so on. And then the next tier, you'll see 10 and 15 and 20 and 25, and then all the way up to 40 agents that you personally have attracted to the company in order to unlock all 7 tiers of the multi-agent revenue share. It's also important to understand that these folks need to be productive agents. If nobody is selling real estate, there's no revenue to share. Also, that's what's going to qualify them as an actual agent for you. If you have any questions at all about the revenue share, again, by all means, there's plenty of research out there for you. Okay, next is our eXp world. This is really cool, and this is the part that I will tell you most people do not understand. They think that we are a virtual company rather than cloud-based company, and when they hear the word cloud, most of the time they think of a filing cabinet in the sky. Super important that as soon as you can, the minute you're engaging with people, get them into the cloud, let them experience what it's like to do business in this way. And again, if you haven't been in the cloud, that is what you need to do first before you talk to anybody, because this really is our office. We have an office. It's a misconception that we don't have an office. And people ask all the time, where's your headquarters? And I always say the same thing. It's in the cloud, and I show up as an avatar every day. And so I really think embracing that is very important to who we are as a company. As you're talking about exploring the community, I think it's important that you really focus on that real-time support. An agent, in hearing virtual or cloud-based, one of the things an agent who's considering our company is always going to be concerned about is, who am I going to go to? Who's going to be there for support for us? And so it's very important that they understand as quickly as possible that we actually have more support for them than their local broker is going to, because we have a staff, again, of over 200 staff members there waiting to serve them. And because of our online abilities and presence, our hours are sure a whole lot better than most local brokerages. So we actually are around 8 to 8 Eastern time, which again is 5 to 5 Pacific. So pretty great hours for agents there. And then the work anywhere, anytime, make sure you take a minute and stop here and play this video for them. If they haven't been in the world yet, let them see what that's really like. The other thing I think is important when you're talking about the world is to make sure they understand it's real-time conversation that happens. And this is why it's important to actually take someone in the world, because as we explain it, it's hard to understand. I mean, if you think back to the first time you went in the world, you were probably a little surprised the first time someone said, "Hi, John. Hi, Mary," and actually was having a conversation with you. So it's a very special thing, and definitely something that you'll want everyone to be able to experience. Next is our eXp solutions, and this is a big one. This is one, as an agent is considering changing brokerages, the things that are most important to them are who's going to be there to support me? And even more than that, is this going to benefit my business? How am I going to do more business at this brokerage than I did at my last? And man, our eXp solutions are second to none. So from our enterprise system, which is going to give them tools and dashboards and reports and very detailed information about their business so that they can track it and build it, all the way through our partnership relationships with our lead generation and things. So the important thing to talk about when you're talking about eXp Enterprise is that we've built this ourselves. As we go back to the fact that we are one brokerage, if you think about a traditional bricks and mortar, independent, or even a franchise system, those are small businesses that could probably run on QuickBooks just fine. We're not that way. We span different currencies, different state laws, all kinds of intricacies as a national brokerage. So there isn't a system that exists. So we're building it ourselves. We actually have a team of developers working every single, well, I don't know about every day, but certainly every business day, in building our enterprise system. And this is really unique in the industry to have our own back end. And so as we collaborate together as to what agent needs are in terms of their reporting and information, it's possible. If an agent wants transparency into one part of their business, it's certainly possible to develop enterprise as something that can do that for them. Next is SkySlope, our transaction management system. You'll really want to talk about the ease and how user-friendly it is. And one of the things I always mention when talking about SkySlope is the fact that they have 24-hour-a-day, 7 days a week support. If you're going to have a hard time uploading a file, it always seems to be at 2 a.m. or when you're trying to get that counter offer in right by midnight, right? So really important to understand and point out that SkySlope has 24/7 support for you. Workplace by Facebook. This is a big one. This is really our intranet. This is how we communicate. This is how we collaborate. I encourage you, take them on your workplace. Show them the different groups you're involved in. Help them see that it's a great way to plug in socially as well as to help build their business and get updated on local information in their state groups as well. And then, of course, our CRM and lead generation. Exciting times for us here. We have our eXp solution powered by Sync, and we're just getting ready to roll out the new version of Conversion, which is KV Core, which is just amazing. If you haven't done any research on that, I really encourage you, go to the KV Core site, understand, because I think if an agent really understands the powerful lead generation systems here, it becomes very, very easy for them to see how they're going to build that business. And certainly the cost, you can't beat the cost that they get all of this included in their $50 monthly technology fee. Next is the marketing and branding. The fact that we have a full marketing team constantly working up deliverable collateral for them to use with their clients in their business. Again, it's something that we are still collaborating on and building new things every single day. And so a great library of resources for you. And then comes joining eXp. Certainly lots of great things. The company's the company that everyone is talking about. Lots of great quotes here, and be watching these carefully, because again, when you use this version of the slide deck, it's always going to be updated with current information, which is why it's so important that you're not downloading a PDF version, but you're actually downloading and using the live version every single time that you share this with someone, so that every piece of information is up to date. And then certainly all the different quotes here are impressive. The other thing here to talk about is of course our fee structure. You want to be really clear on this. So any questions that you have about any of these is important to make sure you have the answers before you are speaking with someone about them. So of course we're on an 80-20 commission split. That does not change. That's everybody across the board. Every single agent in the company is on an 80-20 split. There's no special deals. There's no other arrangements. That is the split with eXp. And that's all up to a $16,000 cap each anniversary year. After that, then the agent's going to earn 100% commission with a $250 cap transaction fee. As we talked about, that $250 cap transaction fee has a cap of $5,000. And then at that point, it drops to $75 per transaction. But again, that does not apply as long as someone is paying in that 20%. Also, the costs are $99 is our startup fee. That includes business cards as well as the first month of the $50 monthly technology fee. All the technology that we mentioned is only $50 per month. Also, once a year, taken out of your first closing is a $420 eXp University fee. And on every transaction, there's a $25 broker review fee. And then our risk management fee is $30, a little bit more if you are in California. It's $40 there. Either way, it has an annual cap of $500. So that's the most that you'll pay there as a risk management fee. And then finally, as you're talking about this, you want to direct people to the site where they can get all this information for themselves as a follow-up, as well as actually complete the application to join us, which is join.exprealty.com. So I hope you found this little bit of an overview helpful for you and answered some questions that maybe you weren't sure of. Again, if you have any questions about any of this, feel free to reach out to myself, reach out to Jason, reach out to Sam Rodriguez, or any of our other regional growth leaders. We are happy to help you. So have a great day and happy attracting.